This is Bobby Orr, and if you're watching this video, you've likely never seen him play. But if you were lucky enough to actually witness his era, you know firsthand that he revolutionized how defensemen can impact a hockey game. During his era, his offensive approach and smooth skating style completely dominated the NHL, and ever since, almost no one has come close to the greatness of Bobby Orr. I didn't think it was possible for another defenseman to come along and challenge Bobby Orr in his records, but what we're seeing Cale Makar do in the modern NHL is simply incredible. At just 25 years old, Cale Makar has won a Calder, a Norris, a Conn Smythe, and a Stanley Cup. And with an assist in a game against the Kraken early this season, Makar hit the 250-point mark in just his 241st game. And with that, he became the fastest defenseman ever to reach the 250-point mark by beating Bobby Orr's record. And on this list of defensemen who've come close to beating Bobby Orr, every single one of them have turned out to be a Hall of Famer. Right now, Makar is literally making NHL history, and when you look at how he's impacting the game, he's become the next evolution of what future defenders are going to try and model. Every team craves a smooth skating, puck-moving defenseman who can not only defend the rush, but consistently join it on counterattacks. These are the unicorns of the NHL. It's easy to say that no one can do what Makar does, but there are several defenders who can do the same to varying degrees. However, no one consistently stacks all of these skills to impact the game in every area like Makar does. Similar to how Bobby Orr dominated in his era, Makar directly influences the game through his skating and patience. In his day, Orr sliced through defenders, and his skating was something that the NHL had never seen before. It was a nightmare to defend, and that allowed him to become the most efficient scoring defenseman in NHL history with a 1.39 points per game. While that stat may never be touched, Makar's on track to do some damage, and he's doing it in a very similar fashion. I've talked about this with McDavid, but the best and most effective skaters are the guys who seemingly time their speed better than anyone else. Cale Makar is a shining example of this, as he uses his speed and bursts to carefully dissect opposing players. He has the raw speed to flat out beat guys, but like McDavid, Makar combines his patience and speed to find holes and opportunities for him to attack. Once he sees an opening, he can change gears instantly and take advantage. We consistently see this out of him on the offensive blue line. Because he's shifty and willing to shoot, he can keep defenders guessing. So when wingers flex out to the point to try and block a shot or eliminate space, Makar's patience and explosiveness allows him to burn a player if they overcommit. Get too aggressive, and Makar will attack the heels of defenders and leave them in the dust. Offensively, Makar is always changing his approach to his attack. He's got the unique ability to consistently find shooting lanes, but what separates him from most defenders is that patience on the blue line to hold on to the puck for an extra second and seek a better play. Where most defenders settle for a point shot or to shovel it back into the corner, Makar elects to hold on and use his skating to put himself and his teammates in a far more dangerous position to score. This combination of patience and skating carries over to every other aspect of his game as well. On the defensive side of the puck, Makar's ability to properly read an attacker and gap up with his skating makes him great at defending the rush. Combine that with his anticipation to understand when to step up on attackers, he only creates more possession for the Avalanche. And once he takes the puck away from you, he turns defense into offense almost instantly. Makar's legs alone act as a one-man breakout. He has the ability to flat out beat an F1, turn it into high gear, and get on the attack. But it's this play here that perhaps shows the best example of Makar's ability to impact the game on both sides of the puck. Watch him sprint back here to take away the potential of a breakaway threat. The Flames forward does a good job of recognizing he won't beat Makar with speed, so he makes a nice pass over to his winger to make this a 2-on-1. But once this happens, just look at Makar's edge work to quickly direct his attention towards the puck carrier and instantly sprawl to avoid another pass. The Flames player does a nice job at finding the trailer, but a mishandle creates a loose puck, and Makar instantly pounces on it to drive up the ice and create a 3-on-2 for Colorado. From defense to offense in a flash. It's all these skills stacked together that makes Makar so impactful in every area of the game. Statistically, he's breaking records, but to sustain that level of greatness will be a whole other challenge. Makar may have gotten to 250 points faster than Orr, but you have to take into account that Orr entered the NHL at the age of 18, which explains why he took a couple of years to reach his peak. But Makar is still on track to be one of the most productive blue liners in NHL history. Not because of this record, but because of the era he's doing it in. It's no coincidence that the top 5 point-scoring defensemen were born between the years of 1960 and 1964. All of them are incredible players, but getting to start their careers in the NHL's offensive golden age of the 1980s meant it was easier to put up points. But as it stands right now, Makar is putting points on the board at a faster rate than almost every defenseman in NHL history, in a much more difficult time to do so. In Makar's young career, the average save percentage in the NHL hasn't dipped lower than a .904. For Hall of Fame defensemen like Coffey and Leach, the average save percentage was an .882. The bottom line being that it is much harder to score now than it was when the NHL's other great offensive defensemen were getting started. Of course, it was a different era, but Bobby Orr was and remains on another level for NHL defensemen. With that being said, Cale Makar is breaking records, and he's still only 25 years old. I didn't think it was possible for a player to even come close to the greatness and dominance over their peers as a defenseman like Bobby Orr. But if there is a defender who can even come close to Bobby Orr's crown in the modern NHL, it's going to be Cale Makar.